We're in Lincoln, and today we're going to do the trail of William Marshal from the Battle of Lincoln. If you don't know who William Marshal is, I suggest you get your history books out. He is one of my most favorite historical figures, the greatest knight in history. William Marshal was the greatest knight in history. He served under 3 kings and was regent to Henry III. If you don't know about William Marshal, you really need to read about him. But right here at Lincoln Castle, you can see the cathedral behind me, was where his final battle was. The Battle of Lincoln. You probably don't know this, but King John was such a terrible king, and he signed the Magna Carta, he was forced to. As soon as he could, he reneged, and the English did not want him to be their king. They invited King Louis from France to England to be the new king. The French came, they actually took over London, and pretty much all of England, if you can believe it, except for Lincoln. Lincoln was holding out. King John died on the way to Lincoln to protect it, and when he did, his 9-year-old son, Henry III, became king. William Marshal, the greatest knight in history, became Henry III's regent. He got here as soon as he could to Lincoln Castle. Here we are on the top of Lincoln Castle. So when William Marshal arrived at the castle, this is the east entrance. The French were already here. So he backed up, he went around to the back of the castle to the west gate. He sent his other knights over to the arch on the other side. So when William Marshal saw the French were on the east gate, he came around with his knights to the west gate. The French had piled up stones as a protective barrier, so William and his knights had to break through that barrier so they could enter the castle and surprise the French. So this here is the Newport Arch, which was built by the Romans. William Marshal sent his knights to take the west gate. His other knight, Ranulph, actually came through this gate, so they came around to surprise the French back at that Castle Hill we were just at. Imagine standing right here and the English defending the French that were standing down there. So when all William Marshal's knights came back here to this spot, attacked the French, William Marshal, at 70 years old, got hit in the helmet 3 times. He survived because he's Superman, and then they continued on to push the French down the hill.
And even though the English were outnumbered, they were able to push the French down this hill and gain the advantage in the tight corridor and win the war. Besides being the greatest knight in history,
He played a big part in writing the Magna Carta.
Here in the Great Hall, Henry VIII came here with his 5th wife, Catherine Howard. If you're not familiar with her, she was the young wife. This is when Henry started to get a little big and not so attractive anymore. So she was the wife he took to feel vigorous again. Unfortunately, she had an affair with his young hot steward, Thomas Culpeper, and was beheaded. But to think, they were both right here in this hall, Catherine Howard and Henry VIII. So this would have been the bedroom that Catherine Howard slept in. Her lover, Thomas Culpeper, probably met her in this room with Henry VIII in the building. She was a sneaky little thing. Unfortunately, it caught up to her. But to stand in the room that Catherine had an affair with Thomas Culpeper in, it's cool. It's pretty cool.
And the reason they met in this room is because Henry was so large he couldn't get up these stairs and they couldn't catch her.
will kick your butt.
And Lincoln is surrounded with all kinds of history, and including Roman history. And here's one of their old wells.